So on the second page, we are starting in section 1-2. So we completely skipped 1-1, and we're just going to jump to 1-2. And we start out by talking about the difference between linear expressions and linear equations. So we are going to be solving linear equations, not linear expressions. Linear equations are when you have equal signs. So like x plus 5 equals 10 is an equation. And then just x plus 5, and I'm sorry, I'm left-handed. I cover everything up while I write. I try my hardest not to, and then x plus 5, this right here is just considered to be an expression. You can write whatever you want down. If I were you, I might write everything I write down. Okay. What is the difference that you notice between an expression and an equation? Yes. Yes, the equation has an equal sign. You solve equations, you simplify expressions. Now, is that like absolutely necessary for you to always remember? No, but equations have equal signs. That's the main thing from now until you stop learning math, that to kind of keep in mind. So within an equation, you're going to have variables and solutions. You're going to actually have your equations. So variables, I'm sure that you are familiar with those. Variables are the letters, or a variable is a letter that represents a number. So like today, we're going to be solving for variables. We're going to be solving for x, solving for, looks like we have a t, a y, a d, all that fun stuff. So a variable is a letter that represents a number. And equations will always have equal signs. That is what we are going to be solving. You can't get always has an equal solving sign. Can't talk and write at the same time. If you are, with this expression, if you were to somehow go to simplify it and your answer is x equals 10, there's no equal sign in this expression, so you can't have an x equals as your answer. That's why equations are the only things that you can solve, because they have equal signs. Your solution is going to end up being the value of the variable that makes the equation true. And the solution is what you can plug back in to check yourself, to check it. You plug it back into the left or plug it back into the right of the equation, and the left and the right-hand side of the equation needs to check out. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. I see someone, ooh, look at that. Is that a little better? Is that better?
I don't know, I'm not on the online.
Is it better for you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm worried about. So today you are going to be given equations that will have an equal sign, and you're going to have to find the solution of it. So we're going to end up solving it using those steps that I'm sure you've been solving equations for a while. So a fun little shortcut kind of thing that I found last year, because I had some kids last year that really struggled even with this first part. So if you're someone who has struggled in math, struggled with solving, one way that we kind of helped those guys out. Have you guys heard of the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally? Yeah. Yes, that's the order of operations. Well, when you are solving, you kind of do the opposite. So I helped kids to come up with, don't call me after midnight. Don't call me after midnight. This is how you solve. D stands for distribute. So if you have distributing, you're going to do that first. Then you're going to combine like terms. Then this M is move your variables. So you're going to distribute, then combine like terms. distribute, combine. Then you're going to move your variables. Then you're going to do the adding or subtracting. And then you're going to do the multiply or divide. So if you're someone who has struggled in the past with solving, I'll remind you of this probably every day. The don't call me after midnight really seemed to help a lot last year. And I don't know about you, but I'm a steps person. So if I know like step 1, I need to distribute. Step 2, I need to do that. That might help you guys out. I am a steps person. So here is a little example. This is the only example that we're going to, well, we'll do a couple of them together. We'll do this one together and then probably number 2 because there's a fraction and you'll freak out because there's a fraction. Oh, fractions. I'm going to tell you this week, I'm going to make fractions not seem so bad. I really promise that after this week, I think Thursday, you're going to look at fractions and you're going to like them. You might not like them, but you won't hate them as much. Okay, so if we have 2x plus 9 equals 23. Now, I know a lot of you can just jump right in and get this done and solve it. But for those who are looking at this and thinking, I don't even know where to start, let's follow these steps. Do we have any distributing that needs to happen? No, so we can skip that. Actually, I know that in the middle school, if you have an equal sign, they draw the line down. I think I remember hearing that every year. So we don't have any distributing. How do we know if we have distributing? What's your red flag if you have distributing? Yell it out.
If there's a variable on both sides.
No. What is it? The parentheses. Parentheses tell you if you're going to be distributing or not. Then so we don't have any parentheses, so we don't need to distribute. Do we have any like terms that need to be combined on the side, each side of the equal sign? No. On the left side, we have a 2x and a 9. They can't be combined together because they're not like terms. On the right, we just have a 23. So we're going to leave the combined like terms alone. Move variables. Do we have variables on both sides? Nope. So we get to skip that as well. Now we need to do the adding and or subtracting, which yes, we need to do that. So we have addition or adding 9 going on. So when you are solving an equation, you do the opposite operation. So if this is add 9, I'm going to subtract 9. And what I do to one side of this little fence here, I have to do to the other side of the fence. And then this is how I'm a vertical person. I draw lines and all that stuff. Is that kind of how you guys have done it?
Yeah.
I see a lot of people with that. So then if I have a positive 9 minus 9, they cancel each other out. That's the whole purpose of doing this. So I cross them completely out. Bring down whatever is left over on the left-hand side of the equal sign. I have a 2x. Bring down my equal sign. 23 minus 9. Now, this is where you might need to get your phone out and just do simple. You can do simple stuff like that. What's 23 minus 9? 14. Okay, so we did the adding or subtracting. Now we need to do the multiplying and or dividing. So we have 2x. To get x by itself, what operation is going on between the 2 and the x? Well, the operation going on between them is multiplication, but to undo multiplication, I'm going to divide by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I'm left with 1x equals, and then 14 divided by 2 is 7. And then a way to check, if you ever get confused and you want to know if your answer is right, like I said, you could go on to that Go Formative and plug your answer in, or this will probably be even quicker. If I take 2 times 7, 2x, so 2 times 7, plus 9, does that equal 23? I think I had a teacher in high school put the question mark there when we were checking, so that's probably why you're going to see me do it. 2 times 7 is 14. I'm just simplifying this down. And 14 plus 9 is 23. And 23 does equal 23, so the best part about algebra is you can check it. So that way you leave this problem knowing that this answer is right, and there's absolutely no way that Mrs. Condell could mark this answer wrong because you checked it. As long as your check is right, I guess I should say. Any questions there? Okay, let's walk through another one. This is all you're doing today, problems like these, just getting back into the groove.
How many?
I don't know, you haven't gotten your worksheet yet. Number 2, we'll do number 2 because there's a fraction. We'll do this one together as well. I know everyone doesn't like fractions. So I'm going to bring down my equal sign. If we look at that, don't call me after midnight, using this as my steps. Do we have any distributing to do? No, we don't have any parentheses. Do I need to combine any like terms on either side of my fence? Nope. Do I need to move any variables? No, because I only have variables on one side, so I don't have to move any variables. Do I need to add or subtract? Yes. Am I going to be adding or subtracting? I'm going to be adding because this is a minus 3. So to get rid of the minus 3, I need to do the opposite operation, and I'm going to add 3. So that cancels it from the left-hand side. We have d over 4 equals 5 plus 3 is 8. So now I have multiply or divide. So what operation is going on between the d and the 4? Division. All fractions are. Don't be so scared of fractions. They're just little bitty division problems. So this is division. So the opposite of division, or to undo division, what do we do? Multiply. So if this is divide by 4, I'm going to multiply by 4. Cancels on the left. Bring down d. Bring down equals. And 8 times 4 is 32. And then again, if you want to check, and if this were a quiz or a test, I would check everything. You would plug that 32 in for D. And so for my check, I would do 32 divided by 4 minus 3 equals 5. I'm going to check and make sure. 32 divided by 4 is 8. And then 8 minus 3 is 5. So because I figured out that the left and the right-hand side are the same, I know that there's no way that Mrs. Condell could mark that answer wrong. This is the work I need to see. I know some of you can do this really quick and stuff, but I do need to see the work. That's how I give you credit. Okay? On your own, I want you to try 1, 3, and 4. So what I would do is I'd draw my line down. There's no distributing, no combining like terms, no moving variables. So I would add 5 to both sides. 3x equals 22 plus 5 is 27. And then divide both sides by 3. And 27 divided by 3 is 9. So you get x to equal 9. And again, you can check it by plugging it back in if you would like. And I'm going to say this probably every day, but if it were a test or a quiz, I'd definitely be plugging my answers in. For number 3, so the very last thing you're going to touch is anything attached to the variable. So this, in this case, the negative 6t. So if you don't want to move things around, because you could rewrite this like I have up on the board there, negative 6t plus 4. These two equations are exactly the same. If you don't want to move them around, always remember that you need to get rid of the term, or in this case, the number without the variable. Look to the left. This is a positive 4. So you're going to subtract 4 first. When you subtract 4, 19 minus 4 is 15 equals, make sure that you look to the left. There's a negative with the 6. Bring down the negative 6. Then divide both sides by negative 6. And now, do you know how on your phone calculators to do negatives?
Yes.
It's kind of annoying. You have to go 15 divided by, and then you have to do 6, then the negative sign. You know how to do that? Yes? No? Ooh, got kind of quiet there for a minute. Okay, so then you would get t equals negative 2.5. Get comfortable with that if you need to. And then number 4 is very similar to number 3 in the sense that they have them backwards. I'm gonna